When it comes to leadership, where do you see most CEOs and business leaders go wrong?
They create teams and organizations in their own image, meaning that every CEO, every leader is going to have some signature strengths, right? And they're also going to have some characterological strengths, like the way that they just are as a human, apart from their gift set, right? Some are highly relational, some are more introverted, some are highly confrontational, some are direct, some are more kind of consensus building and all of that kind of stuff. That's just kind of personal makeup. But what happens is when you start to run an organization, there's a reason, and this isn't just CEOs, it's people that lead departments and all that. But there's a reason why we use the words CEO as opposed to COO or CFO or CMO or whatever. It's Chief Executive Officer. Now, if you get into the psychology, that is just, I mean, that's neuroscience. You have a prefrontal cortex that does something called the executive functions of the brain. All right. Now, easy way to think about this is you never heard a German, the difference in you and a German Shepherd is a German Shepherd just barks, right? My Doberman just barked. We had to close the door. Well, she just barks. Now the postman comes, FedEx, she just barks. You've never seen a German Shepherd or a Doberman bark and then stop and go, I wonder if that was helpful. Is that going to get me closer to where I want to be on Thursday? Did I bark loud enough? See, they're just running along their patterns. Well, most CEOs, they just bark. They see a crisis, they run in there and they do it. They see an open market, they run in there. And that's how they're wired, which is great, except they don't have all of the gifts of the executive functions. See, an executive has got to, number one, see something that doesn't exist, a vision. You got to have a desired, future state. I see a day when this firm has 100 different attorneys in several different lines, and we're changing community. There's a vision. All right. Well, then what does your brain do? If my brain says I'm going to walk from here to there, the next thing my executive functions do is they don't just start walking. Your brain can't walk. It's got to pull the talent together. So now I'm going to need a couple legs. I'm going to need a couple arms. And now, okay, I got my team together. Well, you got to motivate that team too. You got to send out impulses and get them going. You got to keep them engaged. So now we start walking. Well, how are we going to get there? Am I going to walk? Am I going to skip? Am I going to ride a bicycle? No, you come up with a strategy and a plan. Well, you start doing that. What if you wander off? Well, you better be measuring the right things and then holding yourself accountable, and then you fix it. That's what an executive does, all 5 of those functions. Well, I've never met a CEO that had all 5 of those strengths: vision, engaging talent, strategy and execution, measurement, accountability, and fixing and adapting. Some of them are visionaries and they just launch off. They wouldn't know a strategy if it hit them in the head. Some people are very strategic and they make plans all the time, but engaging talent, they're not. So CEOs they'll try to turn everything into the way they are instead of getting above it and saying, okay, I'm not good at this, but my firm, my company, my business, my department, I got to make sure all these things are happening. And once they do that, then you can fix any of them as long as they're not an idiot.